Hey, this is Neil with the Knocking Rod, here with a review of the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9. Let's take a look. So the Ioniq 9 is Hyundai's flagship EV. It's a 3-row crossover, and it starts at $60,000 for the base model. This is the Calligraphy all-wheel drive performance, which stickers closer to $76,000. Now, every Ioniq 9 comes with the same 110 kilowatt hour battery pack, but depending on the model, you get different range and different levels of power, right? So in base form, it makes 215 horsepower and offers 335 miles of range. And this Calligraphy, with its dual motor setup, makes 422 horsepower and offers 311 miles of range. So it's an important note. Every single one of these Ioniq 9s offers at least 300 miles of range, but you're gonna pay for it. These Ioniq 9s offer Hyundai's 800-volt electrical architecture. So what that means is that using DC ultra-fast charging, which is 350 kilowatts, you can charge from 10 to 80% in 24 minutes, which is pretty fast these days. Something else is pretty fast is this Ioniq 9, at least in this Calligraphy spec. So it's dual motors, 422 horsepower, I believe over 500 pound-feet of torque. Car and driver clocked at 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. It's an absolute rocket. Looks like a spaceship, moves like one. Kind of shocking considering it weighs 6,000 pounds, wears 21-inch wheels, and doesn't exactly look like a svelte sports car. I think it's hard to do the design of this Ioniq 9 justice on video or photo, but I can tell you in person, is a striking vehicle. It's got this sort of tapered rear roofline that comes around to what Hyundai calls a boat tail design, I think pretty fairly. And their parametric pixel design language really comes through. The rear end, it kind of curls all the way around the top, the same thing on the front. Other interesting features are these auto-deploying flush door handles. There's a 3D underbody cover. It's all part of an extremely aerodynamic design. I believe the coefficient of drag is 0.269. It comes together, and like we said, you're getting over 300 miles of range from a 6,000 pound 3-row family crossover. It's pretty cool. The Ioniq 9 comes with an NACS port. It actually uses a power-operated port door, which is kind of cool. So that means that you can charge it using the Tesla supercharger stations. Something else to note with the Ioniq 9 is that it currently comes with a vehicle-to-load plug on the cargo bay, which really just means that you can plug it into a household outlet. But Hyundai is talking about, they're calling it their V2X charging protocol, right? So the idea is that you'll be able to, at some point, use these to charge your home in the event of a power outage, or even send electricity back to the grid. You know, this is a 110 kilowatt hour battery pack in this car. It's huge, and it can provide a lot of, other benefits aside from just running the car. So pretty interested to see how that kind of plays out down the road. So you can really get a sense of that pixelated design language, or parametric pixel that Hyundai calls it, on the front end. And with the video running and the headlights on, you can see it's moving and has a little bit of a Knight Rider vibe. When the car turns on, there's all kinds of interesting lighting animations, but a pretty cool one is that it spells out or displays the letter H in Morse code, which is pretty neat. Something to note is there is a reasonably good-sized frunk or front trunk on this Ioniq 9. It's actually got a power release button here on the dashboard. When we open it up, I think it just lifts. Yeah, there we go. I believe it measures 3 cubic feet on paper. Currently, Hyundai has it set up to hold their various charging cords, but you could for sure get a small backpack or some other small gear in there, which is kind of handy. So the Ioniq 9 has a power-operated liftgate. As we mentioned, this is a 3-row crossover. On these Calligraphy models, the second and third row are both power operated for folding, which is pretty nice when you're looking to maximize cargo space. So from the driver's seat, this 2026 Ioniq 9 in Calligraphy spec is pretty nice. They use their Hyundai's premium H-Tex upholstery. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The driver's seat has massaging function, and something kind of interesting, when you put your foot in it to get on the highway, the side bolsters kind of squeeze you in tight, which is nice. There's this dual 12.3-inch screen on the front here. It's really just one big screen, kind of a curved display, super crisp, easy to read, and kind of nicely integrated. Even though it's relatively large, it doesn't feel like it's in the way. Kind of an odd touch on this Calligraphy is something that I've heard called spray painted or aluminum foil. There is real aluminum trim in here, but there's this panel along the dash that doesn't look as ritzy as you might expect of a $76,000 car. Other tech touches in this Calligraphy are the digital rear view mirror and the head-up display. You've got a wireless phone charging pad here in the center console. And a pretty cool feature about the center console is that you can slide it back and forth. It's not power operated, but it's super easy to move. You've also got 7 USB-C ports with a 100-watt output kind of scattered throughout the car. Something Hyundai's done a really tremendous job in terms of the interior packaging of this Ioniq 9 is making it feel very airy. It's a big vehicle, but the windows are huge. You've got a flat floor running front to back thanks to the lack of a transmission tunnel. And it just feels really spacious, especially when you move the center console out of the way. So on these Calligraphy models, you've got second row captain's chairs. Now, I'm 6 feet tall and the front seat is where I would normally drive. Huge amount of legroom. I believe on paper it's 43 inches, which is relatively spacious, and it really feels that way back here. These models also have heated and ventilated rear seats, full HVAC control panel. You've got, again, access to multiple USB-C ports, and the sun's in your eyes. Nice little sunshades. So given the fact that the Ioniq 9 is a 3-row crossover, it seems likely that you'll have some kids in the 3rd row, and Hyundai makes it really easy on these Calligraphy models to access that 3rd row. So there's a button right here that you just press. It's a little bit slow because it's power operated, but it sure is convenient. Moves out of the way, and once that's out of the way, it's pretty easy to hop back into this 3rd row, which is surprisingly spacious. Once you're back out, press that button again, and the 2nd row seats slide back into place. It's pretty cool. All right, so a couple things from the driver's seat in this Ioniq 9. Number one, if you're not familiar, Hyundai's gone to this, what looks like an electric shaver sort of shift lever. It comes off the steering column, and it twists to go into drive, twists to go into reverse, and press the outside to go into park. It's also got an integrated engine start-stop button right here. All right, so let's take it for a spin. Now, being an EV, it's got regenerative braking. Hyundai incorporates the adjustability of that into what appear to be shift levers here on the steering wheel. So you can move, you can change the level of braking, pulling on those pedals, and this does have full-on one pedal driving. So you can see it right here in the instrument panel. It moves that regenerative braking up and down. The one pedal driving is a little bit, you can find yourself making the car lurch, make your passengers a little nauseous if you're not used to it, but with a little practice, it's pretty easy to use. Another thing to note from behind the wheel of this Ioniq 9, it is absolutely silent in this cabin. So Hyundai's gone to a lot of trouble to build a really quiet, luxurious cabin. A couple of notable features: the tires on this car have foam inserts to reduce noise. There's all manner of course, sound insulation, but there are triple seals all the way around, with the glass. And then on top of that, you've got acoustic laminated glass used for the windshield and both first rows of glass. So kind of a high level of noise suppression technology. On top of that, you've got active noise canceling, right? So a lot of effort made to make this a super quiet, serene sort of drive, and I would say they've nailed that. So the Ioniq 9 Calligraphy rides on 21-inch wheels. It's pretty big, and it does an excellent job, I think, of isolating the driver over harsh impacts. However, I have noticed over things like recessed storm drains, kind of a weird rear end sort of shuffle or shake that is unexpected. But on the highway at speed, it feels great, and around town, the steering's light and easy to handle. One area that I would like to see maybe modified or tuned on this Ioniq 9 is the aggressiveness of the advanced driver assist system. So it's got a lot, too many to list here, but you can go into the infotainment screen here and turn them on and off. However, not all of them stay off, and I I have had some unexpected instances of trying to back up into a parking space or my driveway where the Ioniq 9 decides there's a problem and slams on the brakes, which is a good idea from a safety perspective. The thing that's tricky with it is that you then have to depress the brake pedal to reactivate whatever it is you're trying to do. It's pretty jarring. I wish I could turn that off. You can turn it off, but when you reset the car, some of these many backup safety systems and assist systems come back on. All right, so let's see what this Ioniq 9 is like on the highway. Pretty sure this won't come through in the video, but if my 13-year-old daughter was in the car, you would get to hear her gasping with surprise at the speed. So we're in the Calligraphy all-wheel drive performance, so dual motors, 422 horsepower, I believe 516 pound-feet of torque, of course all-wheel drive. So here we are in a 6,000-pound, seemingly silent or mostly silent spaceship of a car that is an absolute rocket. So with really little drama other than the nose shooting up in the air, the Ioniq 9 accelerates tremendously from that sort of 50 to 70 mile an hour range. Down here in the center console, you can adjust the drive modes. I'll be honest, I haven't really gotten that far. Kind of the standard drive mode seems to be just fine. Of course, this is a 3-row luxurious family crossover, so in all likelihood, you're just looking for basic transportation. And on that front, I'm just going to go on a little EV rant right here. Anybody with a family and a plug at home, this is an expensive one. It's almost $77,000. It does start at 60. Hyundai does make other EVs that are less expensive, but man, driving past gas stations is perhaps the best aspect of these EVs. Of course, there are other reasons to own one, but another reason that I like it is that for a lot of the around town driving I do, taking my kids to school, activities, running to and fro, turning my Mazda 6 on and driving it for 1.5 miles at 30 miles an hour seems like I'm just beating it up, wasting gas, whereas these EVs are just designed for that, right? They just you just get up and go, come home, you can plug it in. I do not have level 2 charging installed at home because it's prohibitively expensive in our super old house. But what I've been doing with this Ioniq 9, which has a huge battery pack, by the way, is just plugging it into a regular, 120 volt household outlet in my garage while I'm at home and at night. And it adds ballpark a 1% driving range in an hour, I'm just estimating, which isn't a lot, but I don't really need a lot of range for getting around town, right? Like I said, if you're driving a few miles to school or multiple miles to work, you don't necessarily need 311 miles of range. That's certainly the headlining figure, and you can tap into that using, for longer road trips with Tesla superchargers or the expanding Ioniq network. But for getting around, I really think a household outlet, if you don't have access to level 2 or it's not happening anytime soon, the household outlet or level 1 charging is perfectly adequate for your basic family needs. So that is my EV pitch, and it'll be interesting to see if EVs start to catch on. And I should point out that this one pedal driving, of course, means you can come to a full stop and not use the service brakes. So, of course, they're available if you need them, but you can get used to this one pedal driving pretty quickly. I kind of love it. Hope you enjoyed this review of the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.